Well, he will point out the bright spots in the U.S. economy, while in the war with Iran, the president indicated that a deal with Iran could happen as early as today. America is listening to Fox News.
.633 this morning on Richmond's Morning News. I'm Rich Rivera. Thanks so much for joining us. Super Dave and I holding down the fort. Gary's on vacation this week. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. By the way, James Rivera text line. Have I given you that number today? 833-804-1140. 833-804-1140. You know what? How about if we just have people say hi to Super Dave to begin the show? Because it's kind of slow this morning, Dave.
I'm always ready for a good hi.
All right. So if you want to, just let's. Here's what I want to do. Can I do roll call? You know, like when you're at the Yankee game, Dave, the bleacher creatures will start chanting every player on the field's name until they wave their hat. They go,
I didn't know that.
Super Dave, Super Dave. And then when the player turns around, tips his cap, then they move on to the next player. And they'll do it for all 9 players in the field until each Yankee recognizes that they're chanting their name.
That's kind of cool.
Super Dave. So let's do just for my own.
I'm not wearing a hat, so I can't tip it to the crowd.
That's okay. But let's just do a roll call this morning. So if you wouldn't mind, send a text message in 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. Tell Super Dave good morning and tell us what town you're in, what part of town you're in, where you are. I just want to see where everybody is this morning. 833-804-1140. Hi, Super Dave. Tell us where you are. I'm just interested. I think that would be fun to find out. Don't you, Dave?
Yeah.
Because I think Super Dave is really big in Midlothian.
I do my best.
Midlow loves Super Dave.
I'm hoping my hometown of Henrico loves me too.
Not so much. I've heard things.
We got a rabies outbreak there, so watch out.
You notice Super Dave,
don't let me bite anybody.
Super Dave moves to town. What happens? I'm not saying most of them are, but we already have the first mic checking up. What's up, Super Dave?
Thank you.
All right, so let's make Super Dave's day today. 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. All right, let's summarize what we know right now. As far as the next one we get, hey, morning, Super Dave. And bah humbug to Rich.
That's about right.
Dave, with that one. All right, Dave, I'll get
I'm
you.
texting the phone. I'm texting it myself.
I'll get you, my pretty. Okay, last night we had our primaries. It wasn't much of a primary. Like, I showed up, there's one thing to vote for, and that was the U.S. Senate. And that's where Bert Mississauga won the Republican Senate nomination. He'll take on Mark Warner. Now, some of the other races we had yesterday, Shannon Taylor, who's the Henrico Commonwealth Attorney, she was nationally recruited to run against Rob Whitman, meaning the Democratic folks said, hey, we got to find someone to run against Rob Whitman. They think this is the second biggest race for the Democrats to try to flip some seats here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So she gets crowned the winner on the Democratic side. She'll take on Rob Whitman. Elaine Luria, who ran against Jen Kiggins in the 2nd district, she won her nomination. That was no surprise right there, setting up a high-profile rematch against Kiggin, who defeated her in 2022. Tom Pericello won the Democratic nomination for the 5th district. He'll take on John McGuire, who fought off a primary challenge. He won overwhelmingly. So he's up against Pericello in that 5th district. Don Baer defeated his primary challenger in the Democratic 8th district. And then, like we said, Bert Mississauga will be the Republican Senate nominee. And we're working on getting some guests on. He's going to take on Mark Warner. So right now, the Democrats hold a bunch of the seats. I think it's 6-5 right now, Democrats. Remember, they wanted it to be 10-1, so they're still looking to flip some of those seats. Now, here's the ones that are going to get expensive. Whitman, longtime incumbent district, normally leans Republicans, but the Democrats believe that Richmond in the suburbs is going to give Taylor an opening. That's why they went out and found the Henrico County district or Commonwealth's attorney to run against him. Now, Taylor herself, as a prosecutor, said she could talk about violent crime, fraud, public corruption. She's also calling for restrictions on congressional stock trading and lobbying. Whitman's going to argue that Taylor is way more liberal than her prosecutor image suggests, especially on criminal justice policy, while talking about his seniority, constituent work, and national security experience. That's why when I grabbed the Shannon Taylor flyer from the young volunteer out there, folks, I think the Democrats are going to run that same playbook again. I'm going to run as a moderate. I'm going to run as someone who looks like someone who would be bipartisan. I'm going to run straight to the middle. I'm going to run on my law enforcement bona fides. I'm going to run as I fought crime. Does that sound familiar? I run as I'm going to be someone who's going to come to the middle, and I'm going to help us all become better people. You know where that playbook is? Have you seen that playbook before? Am I talking about somebody? They were blonde. I worked in law enforcement. I believe in this country. I'm going to bring people together, and then as soon as I get in office, I just go completely to the left. This is the playbook. I'm telling you, watch the playbook. I've already seen some of the Shannon Taylor ads. She's going to run straight to the middle, almost looking Republican. And then we see what happens when those people get into office that run on that Democratic playbook. Really hard to be a moderate in the Democratic Party today. So the big question I want to know from Shannon Taylor is she's challenging Rob Whitman. And by the way, the ads already have gotten nasty. They're going to get nastier. There's going to be a ton of money that's going to be spent on this campaign. But if it's Shannon Taylor, I have to ask, will you separate yourself from the liberal wing of your party, or are you going to be like our governor, Abigail Spanberger, who ran almost looking like she was a Republican, and then you see what happens when she gets into office? Now, Jen Kiggins, Elena Luria, both have similar backgrounds. Both of them are Navy veterans. Kiggins was a Navy helicopter pilot. Luria was a SWO surface warfare officer. She's going to argue that Kiggins promised independence and bipartisanship, but she supported Trump and the Republican leadership. Kiggins is going to talk about her work in the military, veterans at Hampton Roads, and cost of living. So this one is really the biggest toss-up in America. So there's going to be a ton of money that's going to be spent over there. John McGuire, Tom Paracello will take on a lot of the south side of Virginia, going all the way from Richmond to Charlottesville, North Carolina border. Two political comeback stories collide. McGuire, of course, is a friend of our program, Navy SEAL, state legislator, has been in that office, been in that seat for one term. His opponent represented the district for one term in 2009, losing in 2010. He ran for governor, worked in the Obama administration. Democrats believe he has name recognition, fundraising network, the previous experience that can make the race more interesting. The Republicans are favored, but this is a legitimate race worth watching. The fifth has a more difficult time for a flip, but that's what we're going to see. So here's where we're looking for the ones that are going to be really hot, heavy, and nasty. Kiggins Luria is going to get ugly. Whitman Taylor is what the Democrats think is their next best pickup opportunity. Vindman's reelection race, likeliest Democrat-held seat for Republicans to seriously contest, and that's Virginia 7. Eugene Vindman, who, remember, testified, and he and his twin brother have been thorns in the Trump administration's side. They think that might be one that the Republicans can flip. McGuire, Paracello, we talked about. So there's a few races in here that are going to get ugly, and they're going to get expensive. Meanwhile, if you're wondering who's running against Mark Warner, it's a gentleman, and I'll kind of give you his resume, Burt Mississauga, retired U.S. Army general, West Point graduate, was the undersecretary of the Army, worked at the Pentagon in intelligence and national security, advisor, attorney, and former business owner. I think he's also a Harvard graduate and sought office running for a congressional seat in 2010. Lots of credibility to speak about China, other issues. Now, if you have Mark Warner, former governor, elected to the Senate in 2008, seeking his fourth Senate term, he said that this will be his final term if he's reelected. Top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee. It has a political identity around business experience, technology, national security, and bipartisan deal making. He was unopposed winning the Democratic nomination. How expensive will this race be? Well, I think I saw reports that Mississauga had $50,000 cash on hand. Mark Warner's got millions in the bank. So we'll talk about this race, and we'll get all the candidates on as we get closer to November. But the primaries are over, and now we'll get ready for the November general elections. Meanwhile, if you just talk about what's else is going on around the country, I just want to see if there's any update. They haven't called the race today in Michigan between El Sayed and his opponent. This one's too close to call. And I hear a lot of Republicans going, I hope we get to go up against El Sayed. That'll be easy. No, that scares the heck out of me that's even this close. For El Sayed to be this close to be there, and we don't know who's going to win that race, absolutely puts chills down my spine. That someone as far left, Hassan Piker, I know he's not DSA, but he's as close as you could be to being a socialist. That he's that close to being a contender in a general election for a seat in the U.S. Senate scares me to no end. The two takeaways I'll give you, Dave. Cori Bush, who was a member of the squad who got booted out of office, tried to rerun. She actually lost, so that's one. And then there's that one congressman that tried to impeach Donald Trump. He had the articles of impeachment. He hadn't been in office for a week. He's in a fight right now to see whether he's going to advance. Oh, and the other thing I was keeping an eye on, Dave, Missouri had a chance to repeal state income tax. It lost. Like 80% of the people in Missouri said, no, we want to keep paying taxes on our state income.
There's the reason why I moved out.
We were at dinner last night talking meal tax, car tax, income tax.
And Missouri has all those things too.
Do they have a car tax?
It's called personal property tax.
Personal property, that's what ours is. We just call it a car tax.
Yeah, basically you're renting a car to yourself.
Meal tax? We have a meal tax. It's more expensive in Richmond than outside
Missouri doesn't
Richmond.
have meal tax.
You have meal taxes, you have property taxes, all these taxes over here. This is where all the stuff that the Democratic Socialists want to give everybody. Oh, we'll give free buses. We'll give free this. We'll give free that. No, it's not free. It's out of my tax dollars. Stop taxing me for everything. Anyway, that's kind of the rundown of where we are with all the primaries. So let the general election begin. All right, number for you to join us, 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. More people are saying hi to Super Dave. Bill in Verina says hi. Dave, Newport News says hi. Let's see. Dave, Henrico loves Super Dave.
Thank you.
I'm from
Those
St.
are my
Louis,
peeps.
too. And I am a bit salty in the morning before coffee listening to Rich. That's Debbie. So you and Debbie are both a little salty in the morning having to put up with me.
Maybe it's an Henrico thing.
Super Dave Williamsburg says hi. Mechanicsville says Super Dave. Carl in the West End, what's up? All right, we're going to read all these coming up. Best text messages get read 655, 755, 855, then 933. I break all the rules. We'll continue. It's News Radio WRVA. Today's program is brought to you